All right, guys, and welcome to the Midfield Four podcast. This is a brand new football podcast with us four as the hosts, basically covering everything, everything that you want to hear about football. We're all football mad, so that's why we're here, just to pretty much waffle away. So I'll stop waffling like that and I'll introduce our four hosts. So just going to introduce everyone, and just to get to know us all straight away, we're going to give our Premier League all-time five-a-side team, just to get to know us a little bit. So I'll introduce everyone, each to their own. So Tay, welcome on. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, mate. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure
Oh,
to
it's a
be back
pleasure.
with the
Pleasure.
boys.
So, you are a Liverpool fan, unfortunately.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So, give us your all-time Premier League five-a-side.
Well, it's got to be up front. I'm going to start from the front, if that's okay. I've got. I don't even know. Who have I got? It's between. I don't know. I should have worked this out. It's between Omri and Harry Kane. But I'm going to go Harry Kane. I love Harry Kane. His bag's so deep. In midfield, I'm going for Steven Gerrard, Patrick Vieira, and we'll have two defenders. We'll have.
You keep, mate.
No, they don't need a keeper with these defenders. No, I'm having. Do you know what? I'm having Van Dijk at the back.
I knew you'd go Van Dijk. I knew it.
In goal, I'm having Peter Schmeichel.
Fair play. Solid. We've got plenty of debates to have today, so I won't elaborate on that. I'll just come straight to Matt. How are you doing, mate? Matt's an Arsenal fan. Welcome on.
I'm doing good, thank you. Great to be on. My five-a-side side, bit of a mix between players I like and unbelievable players. Have gone for Alisson in goal, Vieira, and then a torn between three players: Yaya Toure, David Silva, and Moussa Dembele. And then Santi Cazorla, because he's my favourite player, like my idol. So can't not add him. And then Henry.
No defence, just vibes.
Vieira, do it all. Don't worry.
Fair enough.
Nah, he can do everything. Five-a-side.
Is this a favourite thing and not like a baller thing?
Bit of everything.
Bit of a mix.
Yeah. So, last but not least, Demille, how you doing, mate? Fellow United fan. Welcome on.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, very unfortunately.
It has been peak times for us, hasn't it?
What you saying then? Five-a-side team. What you got for me?
I actually got the same as Matt in goal, Alisson. At the back, I've got Rio. Midfield, I've got Paul Scholes. Got Scholes.
Taste face.
Got Scholes, mate, dictating the midfield, and then two up front, Rooney, and that man Rooney.
Yeah, fair play. That is actually very similar to mine, which I'll read out now. So, I'm Ethan, also fellow United fan, very much, unfortunately. I've gone for Cech in goal. Surprised nobody else went Cech, to be fair, but I'm on my own with that one. Rio at the back, Vieira, Ronaldo, Rooney. That'd be mine. Very imbalanced, probably lose every game, but that ain't the point. So we'll get straight into it then. Basically, we're going to do like a sort of quiz sort of thing every single week. So we're going to take turns in making up 5 questions that are relative to the last week or so in football. So I'm the quiz master this week, so I'm going to read them out now, and the other 3 are going to attempt to answer them, and then we're going to go on sort of a leaderboard sort of thing. So feel free to play along at home and let us know how you get on. So I'm going to read them out now. This will be sort of a thing that goes on every week, and we'll keep a leaderboard going. So yeah, these are related to the last week in football. So question number 1 is: newly promoted Brentford beat Chelsea 4-1 at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. Who were the last newly promoted team to win at Stamford Bridge, and what was the score? That is question 1.
Is this for everyone?
Yeah, all 3 of you. So try and give me an answer, which I'll never reveal at the end of the show. If you could just send that in to me whenever.
I feel like I knew who scored as well. No, I don't. I'm waffling.
I can give you a clue. It is more recent than you may think.
Wait, is it a win?
A newly promoted team in any season going to Stamford Bridge and winning.
It's going to annoy me because it's really, really there. But
I feel like if it doesn't hit you straight away, you might struggle. Anyway, we'll move on. Today, this is very recent news. Seems like Fabio Carvalho is on his way to Liverpool. Tay, first of all, how you feeling about that?
Yeah, I'm not as excited as a lot of people are, but for the price you pay for someone clearly as talented as he is at that age, if you were looking to sign him with 5 years of his contract, you're probably looking at the best part of 40 to 50 million. So to come and work with Klopp. The thing that excites me about that is 19-year-olds want to come and work with Klopp, even though he's due to leave in 2 years. So it makes me optimistic about him staying. But yeah, for the price, you can't go wrong really with it at all. He covers
Definitely
so many positions.
Can I just add, Liverpool never missed the transfers.
No,
I
literally.
haven't had a single. I've never known them to miss in recent history. So,
But then again, I think the fact they've got such a good manager does help, because whoever they bring in,
Obviously,
they get and develop
yeah,
like tenfold.
yeah, obviously.
But yeah, I mean, when I watched him, I don't know if you remember Demille when we played Fulham, his first game back with fans, and he played as one of his first starts for them. I remember him, and I've stood out to me straight away, and he's had a really good year this year in the Championship, so it does look promising.
I think he scored at the Etihad as well in the cup.
In the FA Cup, yeah. So anyway, the question relates to that, and that question is, who was the last player Liverpool signed from Fulham?
This is poor from me.
Can I ask quickly the last question?
Yeah.
Was it? Do you have to have the goal score as well?
You can have the score, yeah. If maybe if more than one person gets it, you can have a bonus point for the score or something like that.
Alright.
But yeah, question 2: who was the last player Liverpool signed from Fulham?
Ooh,
Loan, permanent, anything?
that is tough.
This is poor. Can you tell me the year or not?
No.
Nah.
No.
I feel like it's going to be someone like not even that far away from, but all I can think of is players from years
You
ago.
know what? The only thing I remember was we were close to signing Clint Dempsey for like 2 years. Cause we were down horrendous. What?
Respect
Yeah.
Clint Dempsey though.
Yeah, you don't know where I'm from, dog. Nah, I don't. It's gonna annoy me, and that's gonna annoy me.
Just give you the message.
What? Not that we bought from them.
That Liverpool signed from Fulham, yeah.
Nah, I'm done out.
I can't even think of a name.
Right. Anyway, question 3. Last night Villarreal got a pretty good result, 1-0 against Bayern Munich. My question is, the last time they played, 2 players that played last night played in that game, and I think it was 2011. Who were those 2 players on both sides?
Say it again.
So Villarreal versus Bayern Munich yesterday. That was the first time they've played each other in about 10, 11 years. The last time they played, who were the 2 players that played that game that played this game that started?
Okay.
Do we know what team they're on? Is it one of each or?
It's could be either. That's all you're having.
Was Mamo Neuer there then?
together.
Was that a Mamo Neuer's? Yeah, Mamo Neuer would have been there.
Well, you can send me your answer. If you
It's
want
each
to
one-
give,
I'll
if you
go-
wanna-
team.
if you want to give clues away, then that's up to you. But
I thought
Is it just off
Yeah,
the dome in
Villarreal.
terms of?
it's
That one's
it's
Villarreal.
could be either. So 2 players in the whole game started this game and the game in 2011.
Oh, okay.
Is it just off the dome stuff? Or?
Hey?
I'm just guessing this.
Yeah,
just fully.
I got a message you.
yeah. Just message me answers to any of them, and I'll reveal the end.
Some
So
good questions going.
I feel like these last 2 are ones that if you know it, you're gonna know. It's
Yeah, I
January.
know it.
If
I
you
know
don't
it. I know it.
If you don't know it, you're done. So
I know it.
question number 4. Swansea and Cardiff playing the South Wales derby, which was this weekend. It ended 4-0 to Swansea. What was significant in that fixture that happened for the first time in the 110-year history of the derby?
Get this one out.
I'm not even tempted. I'm out.
Where are you getting these questions from?
I've seen it. If you've seen it on Twitter, you'll know. It's a crazy stat.
Crazy start. This is
Anyway,
not.
I'll
is
move on
it-
to the 5, and you can have a think back as we're going on.
This is tough. Very tough.
So, question 5. Karim Benzema became the 4th player to score hat-tricks in back-to-back Champions League matches.
Ooh.
The 3, Messi, Ronaldo, and Benzema. Who's the 4th?
Yep, I think I'm off.
That's one, because I saw it on Twitter
I
earlier. I was thinking,
don't
that's
know.
the
Yeah.
question.
Messi, Mbappe, Ronaldo.
It's Messi,
Okay.
Ronaldo, Benzema, and there's the
Benzema.
4th. And who's the 4th? That's the question.
Wait, is it back to back?
Back to consecutive matches. So, like,
Yeah.
Benzema's was
Oh.
PSG and Chelsea.
I got you.
Ooh, I'm winging this completely. I don't know whether to go for a really obvious name or someone a bit random.
I feel like you'll all have heard of him, for sure. So yeah, obviously we'll pile on with the rest of the show, but bear the 5 questions. So just pop in your answers whenever, and everyone listening and watching, let us know how you got on. Put your
It was in
answers.
the group stage, wasn't it? The
Hey?
back to back. The group stages was in the group stage.
It's any.
I'm pretty sure I saw the stat. I forgot
Yeah.
the name.
Alright, do you know what? These questions were trumped. Everybody looks stupid. I thought a new ball. Obviously not. That's crazy. What?
I reckon you could do all right. Anyway, we'll move on. So we're going to start this show quite controversially, actually. Our main sort of talking point for today is we're going to come up with our overrated Premier League 11. So I'm sure a lot of people in this listening are going to disagree with a lot of our opinions. So if you do, please don't click off. but give us time. Like, we will say stuff you agree with. So how this is going to work is we'll go through sort of every position and we'll throw some names forward, and then at the end we will come together and make an overall team. So we'll start from the back. Goalkeeper, give me a shout.
Edison Morales.
Okay, go on, Anne.
That's actually a decent show.
Do you know what?
I
He's a
don't
good goalkeeper, but he's a better footballer than he is a goalkeeper. And in the Pep Guardiola team, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't think he's a world-class goalkeeper. I think he's a great player, fantastic player.
So where are you ranking him in terms of keepers?
What, the Premier League?
Yeah, so like if you're saying he's
Fifth.
overrated, because I'd probably have him like top 3.
I'd have him top 5, but like he doesn't touch my top 3.
Okay, well, just to clarify, overrated does not mean bad. It just means
not in all cases.
higher rated than we think they are. And overrated is quite a hard term because in the social media era, players can't get away with playing bad anymore. Like 2 bad games and you're under the cosh. So I think this would have been a lot easier to do a few years ago, and I think we all struggled to get some names in here. But yeah, it's an interesting shout. I'll come to you, Matt. Have you got a name?
Got 2 names to chuck under. I'm sure one will be mentioned shortly, and the other is Hugo Lloris and De Gea. Can't escape.
Well, I'll
really.
talk. I'm sure me and Demille will talk about the hair in a minute. But could you tell me about Lloris? Why do you think Lloris is overrated?
I mean, the mistakes he's made this season, I'm just not really convinced by him, to be honest. Like,
he's got short arms.
I mean, he can make like. The thing is with Lloris, in terms of being a shot stopper is a lot more to being a keeper than just a shot stopper, like distribution and stuff, which is a bit not random per se, but inconsistent with Lloris. But the main thing with Lloris in terms of his like shot stopping is he'll save shots which just you shouldn't save, but then he'll let really easy goals in, or he'll make things far harder than they need to be. And this season, that's been so much more common. Like the Wolves game, for example, he parried it twice for no reason. I think there was an example recently. Newcastle, free kick under, went through his gloves, really poor. I don't think he's really up there with the best. And obviously, with this current age, I think he should be replaced in the French squad with Magnan, not staying Premier League, but yeah. And I think Spurs will be looking for a new keeper, or I think I saw something about.
Didn't they just extend it?
Yeah, they've just extended him another 2 years. Like, I understand. Do you know what? I find it hard to be an overrated player when you've captained your side to a World Cup.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. But I do understand what Matt's saying completely.
Yeah,
I feel
so do I.
I think it's like get bored with that.
I think it's like a current form of a player versus what they've achieved in the past. Like, there's no doubting.
Yeah.
Lloris was
I also
a phenomenal
do.
player.
But are we talking overrated now or overrated over the whole career? Like,
now.
No,
I think
now.
I think that's too big of a sample size to say.
But yeah, he's been quality for France. But I feel like if you're a sort of more old-fashioned goalkeeper, that would be more effective in like a tournament, like a World Cup, than it would be over a season. Because I feel like over a season you'd notice it a bit more. But you can't argue his performances for France, and to say he's overrated across his whole career, I don't think is quite fair. But right now, I agree. So I'll come to you, Demille, first. Just give me who you've got as your overrated keeper.
Okay, well, I considered 3 other people first, 3 other goalkeepers, which Lloris was one of them. I agree with completely what Matt says. Not to say he's a bad keeper, but just at this current form, he's not up to the standard of the modern day keeper, and that's where De Gea comes into it as well. I think De Gea is an incredible shot stopper. However, distribution is absolutely horrendous. He can't clean crosses. He can't command his box. The other keeper is actually kind of the opposite, whose hype has been about his recent distribution, and is Ramsdale. I think he's a good keeper. I think he's a good keeper, but Arsenal fan, most of the followers are Arsenal fans, so this one's not gonna go down well. But I think Ramsdale is a good keeper. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like a lot of the hype is about like his distribution, and he hasn't really been tested to the highest of highest levels right now. So I don't know. We'll see what it comes. He's still early in his career. He's still a young keeper. So
do you think because Arsenal had Leno for so long, who obviously needed replacing badly, that now they've got the style of keeper that they want? And I think Ramsdale's been really good this year. I think he's definitely been better than a lot of people thought he would. But do you think because Ramsdale is the style of keeper they want, they would back him and hype him up a bit more? Like, I can see your point, but based on this season, I think he has been really good. So I do get where you're coming from, but I do think what I just said could be a factor. I mean, Matt, you're an Arsenal fan yourself, and I know you were pretty sick of Leno by the end. So, like, do you think having Ramsdale, who's the sort of keeper that you want, is sort of so good that you sort of maybe go a bit over the top? I don't know. Like, do you get what I mean?
To be honest, if there was a player you put from our squad to be overrated, I don't necessarily disagree with Ramsdale being in that overrated category, depending on how. I think by our fans, he's overrated. By other fans, not really.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Fair enough.
Massively.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Ramsdale was his distribution's phenomenal. He's really, really good with claiming crosses. And his shot stopping is a bit erratic, but he is 23. He's played so much football already, which is pretty amazing for a player like that. 23 as a keeper is 19 as an outfield player. So only room to improve in that aspect. And I mean, for example, the Jota shot, which went in against him, it was really poor keeping. I see your nice smirk. But yeah, it is stuff like that. Obviously, he's made some brilliant saves as well. Obviously, people like making the camera saves narrative, which this is a bit exaggerated at the same time, but ultimately, I do understand that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Ramsdale wasn't even the choice. The choice was kind of a funny one. I actually gone for Dean Henderson.
Hey, Demil's on the smoke. You take it down. Take that United with him.
Listen,
really?
I promise you, Ethan. Dean Henderson is not a good goalkeeper.
Demil, I'm with you on this one. I had a debate for like an hour.
Dean Henderson is not the guy. Like everyone, it's the same thing as Arsenal fans. They hate on Leno, or rightly so. They want Leno out, and as soon as they get a new goalkeeper in, they're like, "Oh, this new shiny toy." Don't get me wrong, like Ramsdale's really good. It's the same thing with United. They see Henderson made some a few impressive starts for United last season, but at the same time, it's because De Gea wasn't performing well, and De Gea's not performing well now. It's the effect of a new shiny toy, in my opinion.
I do see that.
I've seen Dean Henderson as an actual goalkeeper, shot stopping. Just because he claims crosses and shouts keepers, but I promise you, he's not the guy.
I'm completely with you on that. I had this debate, and he's not even in my top 10 in the Premier League. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, but De Gea isn't either. But,
true.
I get what you mean, and I prefer Dean Henderson just because he's not De Gea, and I'll get onto De Gea in a minute. But I do also think he's unfairly treated by our fans. I think on the whole he was good. You had the Liverpool thing, which was dodgy, but the game was lost anyway. And then he made a mistake against Sheffield United when he blasted it against their player in one of his first games. But I don't know. Again, I think we're better with him in goal, and that's probably not because he's the best keeper in the world. It's just because he's not De Gea. So I'll get onto that now, and he's comfortably my pick. De Gea is comfortably my pick. I'm sick and tired of him.
I'm happy to go with De Gea.
I'm sick, absolutely sick and tired of him, and he's been fantastic for United.
Goes back to the Lloris thing, though, doesn't it? Like, this is an overview of their career. Like, he's never really been good at this, but he's still been the best goalkeeper in the world for like a 3-year span.
The game has developed to the point now where he does hold us back, in my opinion. I think we're better without him. I think he makes the defenders around him look worse. I mean, his shot stopping is still good, and he has, I will say this season he's been all right. He's been good, like especially at the start of the season, he was making some good saves. But I feel like a lot of the saves he has to make are caused because he can't do simple things like come and claim a cross. Like the one that stands out for me is the Saiss double save against Wolves. If he'd just come and claim the cross, there wouldn't have been a problem. But the ball dropped to Saiss in the 6-yard box from a corner. I'm just thinking, like, if he just
I definitely hear you. His weaknesses do stand out, and it gets to the point where he has more weaknesses now than strengths. It's just the fact that his shot stopping is a big strength. However, in comparison to that, with Dean Henderson, if you stick him in goal this season, I still believe we concede the same or as many.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I'm not trying to make it into Dean Henderson v De Gea, because ideally, in my opinion, we sign a new keeper altogether. But anyone but De Gea for me.
Do you think Romero was unfairly treated? Because every time I watched him, he was so good.
By the end, he was. The fact that he just was left on the bench, but
do you reckon he'd be your best goalkeeper now? I know he's not like Venezia now, but
I don't know.
You know what though, with the whole like Henderson De Gea stuff, I mean, I can say first and foremost, obviously you were talking about Leno before. Honestly, it couldn't be a more similar comparison with Arsenal compared to United in that sense. And like I remember, I used to really like Leno, be like, "Oh, this guy's amazing," because I saw these saves he's making. This was more when didn't really understand the importance of distribution from a keeper. Obviously, the other side, like Ramsdale, for us offers with interacting with fans is unique. But with Henderson, I think with Henderson, it's a weird one because he's a bit flawed with his. Well, I mean, his positioning's quite dodgy, to be honest. His shot stopping's a bit inconsistent at times as well. I think his distribution's very good, and it's not a coincidence that you're upturning form last season or you went on a good run with him last season. So I think it's a bit of a mix in terms of I completely get what DeMille's saying with it's anyone but De Gea, because I get that completely. That is kind of how it gets to. But at the same time, I think it could maybe be, wearing the United shirt. Maybe that's just too much. It could just be consistent game time for him. So he was brilliant at Sheffield United. He utilised a lot of really good qualities aside from just being a great shot stopper. And I mean, you saw obviously Ramsdale playing for Sheffield United. No one knew he could distribute how he did. And I think the whole thing with Henderson, he's the type of player you'd let go and he'd excel at like a mid-table or like a top 8
like
type
a
team.
Peterborough or something.
Sorry.
That's a great mid-table side.
We can't spend too long. We can't spend too long on.
But yeah,
Nah. That was just one that I knew would cause disagreement. But obviously,
I agree with all of them. But
if we're picking the
Yeah,
position, it's gonna be Lloris or De Gea.
I'd say it's got to be De Gea for me personally.
I think De Gea just due to.
And I think we've got to have a fair United representation in this team at the minute. All right, there you go. Decision made. That's goalkeeper sorted. Fullbacks, I don't think will cause so much debate. I've got 2 written down, and I feel like they're both a bit harsh. So I'll come to you first, Matt, for a right back. Have you got a right back to throw in there?
Got 2 actually.
All right,
one's maybe a bit harsh. One's Max Aaron's.
Yeah, I've got him as well. I felt I've got him. I just think Phillips is a bit harsh, but go on, carry on.
I think people previously, when he was playing in Championship with Norwich, I saw people like Arsenal fans be like, "Oh, sign him," or other Premier League teams like Spurs and all that, their fans wanting to sign him. I've just never got the hype with him. I just think he's really average, and I just don't see anything really with him. Don't think it's too much to add on that. And then Lamptey is a bit of a tough one. Or is he your second as well?
Yeah.
No, I like Lamptey. I like Lamptey.
It's a bit of a tough one, really, because I really like Lamptey. But I think availability is so important nowadays, and the amount of times he gets injured and then comes back isn't at full pelt.
He's not been great this year, has he? Like,
not at all. And when you get that persistent injuries and you don't respond instantly, it just becomes a real issue because then you're back on the sidelines. You come back, you take time to adapt, and unfortunately, it's just not quite.
I just found this position really hard. So if you disagree with Lamptey, say I'll come to you, Ted. Have you got a name that's different to them?
Yeah, I got a few. I haven't got like one set in stone. I'm happy for you boys to like do this really, but I think Max Aaron's obviously is. I'm not saying he's an awful player, but like some of the shouts he was getting for a top 6 move was ludicrous for like 20-30 million pounds. He's an average footballer. That's fine, but if he wasn't English, I don't think you get that. Another one that no one's gonna really like, and it is very, very harsh because he's so young, but Tino Livramento, he's good.
Really?
He's good.
I actually considered him. Do
you know what? I think he's going to be probably a world-class player, right? And that's cool. But sometimes I watch him and he's the best player on the pitch. I went Saints last year. Was it last year? I don't remember when, but Tino played and he was amazing, like so good. But sometimes I'm watching the game and I think I'm watching a different player to what people are telling me. Like I feel like if he was 26, no one would say, "Oh, what a game, Tino." Like, which is fine. He's gonna.
That's the problem with picking young players, though. We've just mentioned 3 young right backs, and inconsistencies come with being young. I just found this really hard. This position.
Overhyping players definitely comes from being English. Definitely.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think he is an overrated player, but I don't think there are many. People talk about Kyle Walker, Trent, Reece James. Like, none of them are overrated footballers. Like. If there's anyone, it was probably Max Aaron's, bless him. But
I think there is one other as well. I forgot about. I'll let DeMille go first, and then I'll add that third in the hat.
Well, I guess it's not really. It's a hard one, but I went for Dallo. And the reason I went for Dallo, and the reason I went for Dallo. Huh? Dallo.
He's going to fill a full United squad.
Mate, honestly, I told you I've got United players. I guess I'm comparing it to what the fan base actually thinks. And in my opinion, our fan base overrates Dallo. I think it's another case of how they just don't like Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that.
They see an attacking fullback. I don't understand what he offers attacking wise. Honestly, like he can't really put a cross in that's accurate enough. Same with Tellez. Like they're considered attacking fullbacks because they get up the pitch, but it's all about the quality you put in. Yeah. Wan-Bissaka's quality wise is providing more assists than Dallo. So I don't really get the hype of Dallo. Also defensively, he's not as good as Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is one of our best defenders, defensive fullbacks that we have. So, in my opinion, it's just a new shiny toy. But I think fans are starting to see that Dallo's not all that. That's
fair. That's fair. I get that. And I'm not a fan of Wan-Bissaka, but I don't think Dallo's that much better. I think he's better, but not by much. So yeah, I get what your point is. He's that same dynamic as Henderson and De Gea. So that's a fair shout, to be honest. Do we just go Aaron's there then? Because we had three of us.
I think three,
yeah. I'll just add one final name in as well, like Soufal from West Ham. That might be a bit harsh.
I was going to say that. I
can get on board. I can get on board with that.
But the only reason I don't think he's underrated is because they got him so cheap. Like, if he
he's gone from underrated to a bit over, and like it's one of them.
Yeah,
he's definitely not bad.
He's like a do-a-job solid player in a side like West Ham, who are really dominant and like aerial, but at another side, I'm not sure he'd be so great.
Yeah, it's probably just a player that fits well in the system, and that's it. So it's a fair shout. Back Aaron's right. Yeah. Again, might be harsh, and if he ever gets a move to a bigger team, he might prove us wrong. But considering he's been around for a couple of years now, he's just not really hasn't really moved.
Never kicked on, has he?
Yeah. I'll go to left back now. We were talking off recording. Has anyone even got any shouts here? It's so difficult.
Yeah, it's so hard, isn't it?
I didn't have a shout until Demille mentioned Tellez, to be fair.
Yeah, to be fair. I've got one, and I don't even think he's rated, to be honest. I just think he's incredibly bad, and that's Firpo at Leeds.
Yes.
I don't know if he's even rated, but he's
tragic. He's tragic.
I mean, based on the fact he's Barcelona and 15 mil, he is really bad. So that'd be my shout, and that's literally all I've got to say on him. He's just really bad. But go on, Tellez I could probably get on board with, to be honest. So
do people still wear Reguilon?
Reguilon.
Oh, Reguilon's a good shout, actually. He's just
Reguilon hasn't been as good as I thought he would at Spurs.
Last season,
I don't think he's overrated. Though. I don't think he's. I just feel like he's just.
He's just
alright. I think he's just there.
It's just there.
I think when he first came, including me as well, had high expectations for him, but just at this point now, he's just not that guy. Not great defensively, only useful in a wing-back system, and he's not even that effective at that point.
Doherty's been doing better in his position than he has been, though, if you put it that way.
Yeah.
Hot take. Can you throw Kieran Tierney's name in there?
Ooh.
I considered Tierney. And the only reason I considered Tierney was what Matt said previously about availability. And
I hear that.
Always gets injured, guaranteed in the season. He's a great defender, great left back. But availability wise, Arsenal they always have to either get Saka at left back or is it Tavares? Who's that left back now?
Tavares. Tavares.
Oh, he's awful as well. I'm sorry.
He's not rated though, is he?
Nah.
You know what?
He's catching the strike.
I think Tierney's a very interesting one because I actually think he's underrated on a general sense, but he's overrated in like an availability sense, I guess. But that's not really like overrated per se. Because availability, as I say, is a massive.
I think there are players more overrated than him. I just thought he's definitely worth.
Who then?
Yeah, fair enough. No.
Who are we going for? Has anyone got any other names?
So I'll give a quick rundown and Tellez, I guess. So threw the name in there. I just never got anything about him, to be honest. I think he's great set piece taker, great dead ball specialist.
I think he's absolutely horrific defensively.
I think shocking defensively, doesn't even offer that much offensively, not that great on the ball. Just nothing special. Not even that. I just don't think he's even a mid-table footballer. I don't think he's a mid-table footballer, to be honest.
I don't think. I'm not going to put him in here. I wouldn't put him in my 11, but I'm going to give Cancelo a shout.
Fantastic no way.
Left back, no way. It doesn't cut it for me.
You don't think? Doesn't cut it up.
I
Interesting.
think he's a fantastic footballer. One of the most technical players probably in the world. But
That is
This one's
as
getting
a left
flipped.
back, defensively,
Akito.
he's not great. I promise you. Anyway, and
No, you know what? I don't like hear
it's
it
not
per
the most.
se,
It's not
but
the most overrated.
I get.
I didn't say that.
that
But
shocks me. That
I don't see him as overrated, really, like in any way. But I get where you're coming
What-
from in senses.
people were giving him like Player of the Year shouts earlier in the year. Him and Bernardo, which I understand because they were on good form, but like he's playing on the wrong side. I understand that, but the amount of times I see him get caught out, like Walker never gets caught out, and I think he's a much better player than Walker.
yeah, but how many fullbacks don't
Walker
get
does
caught
get
out
caught
these
out.
days,
He just.
I
he's
think
just good
The
recovery.
thing with Cancelo is like the role he plays at that City squad as well, like the way they play. Like
Yeah.
last season, he was, inverting as like a midfielder a lot of the time.
And he's important. He's
which-
important.
yeah.
I wouldn't have him in my team, but I think he's worth talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
fair.
a name worth bringing up, but nothing more. I think.
Yeah, rattle a
That's
few.
probably
Tell
a
us
few
it.
City fans have just clicked off.
Sorry, Solano.
Anyway, we go Tellez. We'll go Tellez. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Another United name in there. Yeah, we need some more United representation.
I've got one for you at centre back.
Well, that's what I threw.
Rafael Varane.
All right, we'll go.
I knew that was.
We'll go centre back.
Don't mind it.
All right, who would you say?
Varane.
All right, go on and why?
I said it when we went out. Literally, you can search my tweets. I said it when you signed him. I think he's a good player, but I just don't see it with him. Like, I don't think he does anything exceptionally, and he's not the most overrated defender in the league. Like, I don't even think about him, but I don't know. I just don't think he's. I don't think he's this, world beater. And again, it goes back to the Lloris thing. Like, he's won a World Cup. Do you know what I mean? But I think for someone of his stature to play at Real Madrid for so long, big move to Man United. I appreciate his run of form and injuries and stuff like that, but I just don't really think he's that good. Or maybe
I can't lie to you. I did consider it. I think it's not because I think he's a bad defender or whatsoever. I think he's our best defender.
Just his injury record for me. That's the only thing. He's barely been
His
available this season.
His injury record doesn't help. The fact that we always ship goals doesn't help. And the fact that he's supposed to be, Champions League Varane coming from Real Madrid, like this leader that's supposed to fix our centre back's problems. He was actually a centre back who's to partner Maguire and actually make us much more solid defensively, and that hasn't happened whatsoever. Partly because of the defensive setup, of course, and the fact that we have no midfield. It doesn't help him, but I guess he has to take some responsibility. If he's being fair to himself, I'm sure he'll say to himself that he doesn't feel like he's been having his best season. So I wouldn't have him in my team, but I understand what you're saying too.
Yeah,
I don't really
I see
have
the point.
I don't really have any more. Like, it's hard. Like,
Well, that's the only.
like we were saying earlier, you can't really put Maguire in there. Like, who rates him? I think. Do you know one that's harsh because he's young and it's his first season. But Trevor Chalobah, I don't think he's good at all.
No, I get that.
But then
It doesn't
he's
interesting.
really.
It's just a youngster at the end of the day. It's tough.
He's 22.
Yeah, but he wasn't even supposed to play this season, really, was he?
But you can see why.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. He's all right.
Oh,
No, he's all right.
Nice. I mean, that free back, really. Obviously, we know about.
yeah, I was going to say, do you not
architecture,
think you could throw any of them defenders in there?
Yeah.
I've got Rudiger noted down.
Rudiger's the
I
best.
considered
Rudiger's the
Silva.
best one out of all of
You've
them.
got Thiago Silva.
No, I didn't. But I consider.
Oh.
I feel like Rudiger is not overrated though.
I feel like I do feel like it's harsh, and I still think he's a good centre back, but he gets compared to like Diaz, and people are putting him up there for like
True.
best in
Yeah,
the world,
Yeah,
and he's
true.
just good. He's good. He's not world class. Nowhere near world class for me.
But who?
Rudiger.
Are you mad?
Could throw
Rudiger's
Christensen in there as well in terms of Chelsea players.
Rudiger's a centre. He's borderline world class. Rudiger. This past year and a half, in my opinion, of course.
Yeah, he's been good, but I just wouldn't put him up there with like Diaz, obviously not Van Dijk, but I've got a few
names
other
there.
names.
There's two names there.
I've got a few other names. One I don't think's rated. Again, a bit like Firpo. I just think he's really bad, and that's Mings.
He's not rated. Villa
But
fans.
he's not overrated, is he?
Yeah,
I
he's-
consider
I've got
him,
one as
but
well,
He's just
but-
not overrated.
And my other defender, this might be controversial, Laporte.
Yeah, I got Laporte.
Interesting.
I got Laporte.
It's
I
very,
just think he's really, really error prone. And again, he's obviously not bad because he's got like 2 Premier Leagues. When he first came in, made a hell of an
Amazing,
impact.
yeah.
But I've seen a few City fans as well getting a bit fed up with him, and it does seem like he is very, very error prone.
I see a lot of City fans talking about like only reason he starts over Stones is a Spanish passport, and I don't disagree. Stones, I think, is a much better player.
Again, him and Rudiger, none of them are terrible, and they're probably still definitely top 10 in the league, easy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Dan calls him his slander name. I am Eric, so that's not joking.
I am Eric.
Yeah. I mean, is anyone else? They're the three are down.
I've got Ben Godfrey.
Oh, that's a good shout, because it's like I think people still have that image of him from a few years ago, but he's just deteriorated massively, and nothing's been said.
Yeah, I think he suffered really badly with COVID, though, didn't
he? Yeah.
Did he?
I don't think it's a permanent thing. I think there's definitely a player there. He's still so young, but I just don't see. A few months ago, a year ago, he probably should have been called up to the England squad.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
You know what?
Yeah.
It's another disease of playing for Everton. Anyone involved in clubs like that, I just can't really judge them too high.
I think he's the first Everton player that's been mentioned. I'm surprised. We'll talk about them in a bit.
I mean,
wow.
And then final name, I'll just chuck in. I don't even know if he's overrated, but Soyuncu, I just think he's awful.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with that.
What are we going?
I just chuck in a name as well. I don't think he's rated either, but I put Conor Cody.
Yeah.
I think that's harsh.
I think
that might be a bit harsh.
I think for someone
who's
physically
dominant, I don't think he's rated.
I think he's so much better than Mings at the very worst. Yeah. He shouldn't get England call-ups, but
Mings is
the fact he's in the England squad makes him overrated. But he's a good defender. In a 3, he's a good defender.
He's okay.
Yeah. In a 2 would be a bit.
Right, who are we putting in there then? There was a lot of names in there. Who do we agree with?
I don't agree with Rudiger, but if you want to put,
we won't go Rudiger. That's fine. Because if you strongly disagree, that's fine. What about Laporte? Chuck Laporte in?
Yeah, I think Laporte. It's fine. We need to be a bit more ruthless. Being harsh isn't saying they're a bad player, but overrated. I'll go Laporte. And I would go Varane, but I understand it.
I have two sides to Varane, to be honest. I'll just quickly say, I don't think defensive structure at all helps. When Ragnick just brings off all your DMs, for example, these two centre backs that just have 3-on-1s at any point, and it's so hard to really judge a player like that. But at the same time, and once again as well, I know you said always beats sign from Real Madrid, Champions League Varane and all that, but how much can he do at that point? Yeah. But he has also made some poor mistakes, like the one against Atletico, a few others I can't really remember off the top of my head. Availability, obviously.
Should we just chuck? Soyuncu in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, either or.
Because if he is rated at all, he's certainly overrated because he is a car crash. All right, there's your back four.
Hope you're not listening, Soyuncu, mate. Sorry if you are.
So we've got David De Gea, Aarons, Soyuncu, Laporte, and who do we go left back? Tellez. There you go. There's your back four.
Right. Get out your hair shirt ASAP.
Hey?
I said, get out your hair shirt ASAP.
Oh, God. Right, we'll move on to midfield. I've just gone for, I don't know what you boys have done. I've just gone for a 4-3-3. So we just go 3 midfielders, whatever midfielders you want. One name I'm throwing straight in there is Kante, and anyone wants to debate that?
Go ahead. I'm with you. I'll be serious. He turns up for a month, and he's a great big game player, but he's not even turning. Yesterday he was woeful.
Ballon d'Or shouts just finished.
Ridiculous. Yeah, he's not a better player than Kovacic anymore. He's
I'll tell you what, right? In the Leicester season, in the first Chelsea season, he was sensational. Without doubt, he was
probably one of the greats. But
since then, bar a few Champions League games last year, it just doesn't move me anymore. So I'd certainly have him in there. Don't know if anyone disagrees.
I'm doubling down on that.
What about Matt Demel? What are you saying about that? Harsh.
Interesting, yeah. I hear what you're saying. I still feel like he's a great player. Regardless, I'd take him over a lot of players.
Yeah, of course, he's not bad, but
I think in an overrated squad, there's a lot more overrated.
What position are you playing in? Because in Chelsea, I don't think he's. I still see him as a defensive midfielder.
What? But as a loan, not on a. He's always been better in 2, hasn't he?
Obviously in the 2, but he's also he's been previous past 3 seasons now. He's been kind of pushing up as a box to box now, and I feel like that's kind of contributed it because attacking wise,
do you need to offer a bit more than just having to play a certain role to be considered as highly as he has been?
No.
Jack of all trades, but master of none, and I don't know. I got
I
anything.
disagree with that. I feel
Well,
like
he's
a
definitely not a master of
at
none.
break.
He is,
at
We're
break.
talking about another World Cup winner.
You know what though? He's the type of player who you'll be like, whatever about, and then next week at the Bernabeu, he'll drop like a 10 out of 10 performance.
But when he
He's that
does,
type of
we'll
player.
record this again. But so that.
I think we've got an agenda against the 2018 France squad, to be honest.
We might.
I don't mind it. I do not mind it.
Tay, I'm going to push you to an answer who I think you might agree with here. A certain Belgian from Leicester.
Yeah, this guy is not good, right? Amazing technical player, but I can't stand his work ethic. And I know that's such an old person thing to say, but you watch him, it's frustrating. I know there was that clip that went around Twitter, but like even not that, I see people throwing 40-50 million pounds on his head, like Man United link with him, Real Madrid, Liverpool want to sign him. Can you imagine Tielemans playing for Liverpool?
No
my
chance.
God, calamity. The guy cannot run. Do you know what about Tielemans? I used to play football with an exchange student from Belgium, and he trained with him at the Anderlecht Academy. And he said technically he was so good, but like he just didn't know how to play football properly. Like he said that when he was 19. He said he got in the first team due to injuries, and he kicked on ever since. So fair play, but like still to this day, I just think he's lazy. Maybe I'm wrong, but
again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but we're not saying these players are terrible.
I am.
Well, fair enough, but he's
We doesn't go for all of us. So
yeah, Tielemans has got to be in there. Got to be. He's probably the captain of this team.
Fair
He made the club.
What about do you agree with that, Matt, or no?
not really, to be honest.
What you rate?
I completely agree with like the work ethic side, and that's definitely true. But he is only 23. I know you said that's like a thing from young, but could he not? Surely, if he joined like a Pep or a Klopp or someone like that, surely that's going to get patterned out. Like they're not going to. Surely you're not going to sign a player who won't work out at all, like track back or anything like that at all. Because obviously this current version, but he is very young in the grand scheme. Obviously he's played a lot of football and stuff, but his technical ability you work on a player like that. I see him being like a top player really. So.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I'm going to Tay on this one. I'm not moved, but I've thrown two out there. So Matt, have you got a shout?
Yeah, I've got quite a few. I got Ndidi. I got Soucek. One of the two can be the captain of the team. You pick. Got Jorginho because his name just has to be thrown in there, doesn't it? Really. And I got McTominay because just has to be thrown in there. Really.
I agree. I agree with all of them to an extent, but no more than the names we've already mentioned. Like Ndidi, yes, definitely. But then I don't even think he's that rated anymore. Like 2 years ago, maybe. But
I still see. So I mean, I guess it's with overrated. Like, are we talking with just fan bases or a general?
Just in general, I suppose.
Because
yeah. So I've got another one. Van der Beek, just bad. He's just bad, isn't he? Like he's just not. He's just not out for this league.
Just an awful career path, to be honest, for him. Like he joined United when he had like the world at his feet to sit on the bench all the time, and now he's gone to Everton, which could be even worse. So
that doesn't mean he's overrated though.
Well, he £40 million signing, and you can argue game time and that at United, but whenever he did play, he just didn't really he could start a game and he'd come off at 60 minutes and you wouldn't even know he was on the pitch, that sort of thing. And I'm willing to give him a chance if Erik ten Hag does come in, but I don't see it working out. And if he goes back to Holland or goes elsewhere, he might do well, but based on his time in this league, just not for me.
All right, first. Well, let me give my picks then. It's pretty much. I think Matt said all of them. Jorginho has to be the captain of his team. I'm so sorry. Like Ballon d'Or shouts for what? Sorry, no. Penalty merchant, actual penalty merchant. Not none of this Bruno rubbish. Penalty merchant, Jorginho. Slow as hell. Can't run.
That clip of him last night was hilarious.
Wait, honestly, he can dictate play. He's a great regista, but like just for him to be considered the best player in the world.
Yeah, I hear that.
You know what though? Have you ever seen him play a line-breaking pass? Like you've seen him put one in the air.
Yeah.
A lot.
For the Havertz
on ground line breaker.
Oh, I don't know about line break, not on the ground, but the Havertz goal, I'm pretty sure he assisted that, which is a class.
He's great with like.
There was one at Watford a few years ago, and I still remember it. It was like the most beautiful pass I've ever seen. I find it hard to hate a purist, but yeah.
Anyway,
have we got any other names?
Jorginho and who was it? McTominay and Tielemans.
I like it.
There are a few others on the fence, but
quick word on McTominay then, just quickly before we move on.
He's not good.
Just not good.
He's not good. And people think like he's captain material one day. Like I don't understand. People think he's better than Fred. Fred's clear.
Nah.
Fred's so good.
Fred right now has been amazing. I think he's our player of the year. Could be our player of the year. Which is actually something, to be fair. But yeah, McTominay, he can't control the play. He can't tackle. He can't intercept. He loses his man.
That's it.
What is
Nothing.
he on
he
a
hides
pitch
for the
for?
ball as well. He doesn't even have that many.
Yeah.
He hides for the ball.
I think
That's the
Burnley.
worst one. Sorry, that's
Like
the worst
30
one. That's the
touches.
ball.
Outrageous for
He
a
plays
six.
DM and he has 30 touches a game. What is he?
I'm happy to throw him in a team.
I've got a few before we wrap it up, right? And please, I'm gonna get some stick for this, but like Jordan Henderson, if it wasn't for that season where we won the title and he was fantastic, I would throw him in. But the way pundits talk about how he makes us better, this season is just not true. It's not true. He doesn't hide from the ball. He demands the ball, but he doesn't know what to do with it. He just ends up smashing it. And yeah, I think he's a great player, but the way English pundits talk about him is ridiculous. Like, I think you can throw a player like Naby Keita in there as well, and Liverpool fans won't like that one. I think he's a good player on his day, but it comes back to what Matt said, like availabilities for like 50, 60 million pound signing over 3 years. We haven't even got 100 games out of him, and he is good. He is good when he plays well. But...
Quickly on him, I would agree with you like maybe 2 years ago, but when you had your worst the COVID season, sorry, where you had like, no defenders, and he was injured for a period of time as well. He also had to come to centre back. It was very noticeable how you had no like dictation in midfield. So that's only the reason why I feel like he does have a good impact on your team. That's why I wouldn't call him overrated.
Yeah, fair enough. Any other shouts? Oh.
Just one more.
Unbelievable. Go on then.
In a bit.
He's gone.
No, I don't. This season, I don't think so. I think that I think the hype's died down.
I'm not even getting into this. It's a conversation for another day. But
you just never have joined United and been put in a pivot most of the time. That's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, no, I could agree with that. But again, that's a conversation for another day. But we need to pick midfield three. I'd say Jorginho. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I think Tielemans has to be there. I'm doubling down on Tielemans.
And Didi, Jorginho, Tielemans. Then I feel very passionate.
McTominay, Jorginho, and Tielemans.
Tielemans' family have got season tickets to Overrated FC. Like he is that poor. Anyway, so
that's the first position where we've actually been like overloaded with options. To be fair,
Jorginho, Tielemans, and
McTominay.
I think that's fair.
That's class, right? And we'll move on to the forwards. All right then, so we'll move on to the forwards, the final part of the team. We're sort of, I don't even think we need to go for two wingers and a striker here. We'll just go for three. This I really, really struggle with, to be honest. I've only really got one name that I'm pretty set on. So I'll hand over to someone else first. Can someone throw out a name?
Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, fair.
And the reason is because he's 21 now, and he's got 4 goals in his career. Like, it's ridiculous. He's been considered to be one of the top young talents in the league, and you got guys like Sancho, Foden, Diaz, all of these young players that are way better than him at such a young age. It's just not. He's not cutting it. It's not cutting it for me.
I can get on board. Definitely.
You know what it is? I think with him, I think it's a case of he's like overrated by like his fans and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyone else, I don't see him like being
overrated. But who's really
like,
bothered about Hudson-Odoi and Chelsea fans? Let's be fair.
True, but
you know
yes, obviously they're fans.
I was bothered. I'm bothered.
I don't know. Human.
Go on then, Matt. Have you got a name you can throw in there?
Interesting little name. I mean, to be fair, Pulisic, I feel like is a decent shout. He's so inconsistent, really.
Can you
One
stop
game
saying Chelsea players? Because I'm about to say a Chelsea player.
He'll pop
all
up with a
sorts of
hat trick.
tackles.
If it's Lukaku, it's void. No, I'm joking.
Lukaku is just not very good, but is he rated? So that's
Yeah,
why.
that's what I was
not
thinking.
anymore.
That's why he's not being put in. But yeah, I think with like Hudson-Odoi, injuries just completely killed him, and he's still only 21. Like he can get to that stage, but see what happens really with him. And then Pulisic, I don't know, I just never really got it with him. He went through that lockdown period where he was unbelievably good. He'll pop up with the odd goal here and there, which is quite important. He could go on, honestly, he's the type of player where 5 games in a row he'll go score not 5 games, 3 games in a row he'll score 8 goals in total. And then next 10 games, they'll just do nothing. Not just goals here, right? Because I don't want to focus on just goals, because there's a lot more to forwards than just goals, as my next player will go through. I mean, I may as well get him out of the way. The man who loves scoring against my club basically every time, so it could be any Liverpool forward at that point. But Diogo Jota, bit of an interesting name really among a lot of people. For me personally, I think his movement's unbelievable. His finishing's brilliant. Him in the air is amazing as well. But where my problem comes with him is he's been played as a 9 a lot of the time, and particularly in games where you need the ball to stick and you have minimal touches, you just get absolutely pressed out of it. You lose the ball a ton, lose possession so much. His ball retention isn't great in general. He's not really. He's like an unorthodox dribbler, I guess. He's very direct in that sense. Not that that's a bad thing per se. He's not really the type who's like an unbelievable dribbler, I guess. But then there are some other unorthodox dribblers who are good. So maybe that's not really a point to put against. But I think the whole point with him is he's a brilliant goal scorer, brilliant poacher, knows where to be, and obviously 13 goals. And before, as I say, the comments or whatever mentioned, yes, he scored however many goals against us, even against us at the Emirates earlier on. Most recent game, not good at all. Pops up with a goal out of nowhere, so fair play to him for that. But 50 minutes, he wasn't good at all.
It just works though, doesn't it? That's the thing. I completely agree with what you're saying, and I don't think he's actually improved that much since he's been at Wolves. But it just works. That's the thing. I get it, but he's got Liverpool were lacking a goal scorer when they had Firmino there, who for all of his good, he didn't really score much, but. Jota must be on 20 already this year. As much as he's not the best to watch, it does work. That's what I'd say. It works for them, and that's all that really matters, I suppose.
Could you not say the same to a lesser extent for someone like Bruno last year or the year before? Everyone was singing his praise properly because he was scoring all the time. They didn't really care about his all-round game and stuff. But now his goals have dried up. Everyone's really digging on his all-round game. And not saying that will happen to Jota, because I don't think it will. For one, the technical level in that Liverpool side, the system, it's unbelievable. So that's not going to happen, particularly against lower sides. He can play as a 9, but if you're playing an aggressive side or a side which is organised, it's keeping the ball is my main thing to say. But he's only 23 again. A general consensus with this side is
he actually 23?
I think he's only 23. I might be completely waffling there, but at the very least, he's very young. Maybe 25, 23. I'll have a look real quick for Jota's age. 25, okay, my bad. But 25, very young still for he's still very young. He's already had his birthday as well, so not quite turning 26 anytime soon. But no, he's still it was December the 4th, mate. I'll add that for next time, don't worry. But no, he's still relatively young. He can add that to his game. I'm sure that'll be something which is worked on with him. But as of right now, that part does really irritate me with his game. And he's an unbelievable goal scorer, as I say. But the all-round game is frustrating and is detrimental. In a game like City, I'd be very, very surprised if he started.
What do you think of that, Tay?
I don't disagree with what you said, but doesn't really make sense as well. I get it, and I appreciate a bit of an eyesore sometimes, but. He's played, he's averaging a goal every other game for us, for 30, 40 million pounds to winning us games. 20 goals by March, for a quote unquote backup.
But he's not a backup anymore, is he? He probably starts.
But who really? I don't see much outside of Liverpool fans on Twitter. To your fans, to United fans, to Arsenal fans, to Chelsea fans, sit there going, "Oh, I'm really jealous of Jota. I wish I had a player like Jota." I don't see that, but I don't really see as much hype as maybe I should, or maybe I see a fair amount. But I don't disagree with you. I think everything you said was right, but if you're winning your games, I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
both sides. Go on and
It
take
is.
what's the name.
It is one of those ones, really.
I got a few names, and
Ooh.
it might upset a few people. So starting off with Mr. Riyad Mahrez, he's number one. I'm gonna go through a short list, and then I'm gonna have to have a little talk. Mahrez, he's got to be up there.
Didn't
You're
have to get
not
that.
gonna like this one. Smith Rowe's up there. Alright. I've got Mason Mount.
That was mine.
Yeah. I've got Kai Havertz.
Oh, that's controversial. That is controversial.
Yeah, I think that's it, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, I think that's about
All
it.
right. I want to hear. I'll let Matt agree with Morris, so I'll let him talk about it in a minute. I want to hear Smith Rowe.
Good
You know
player.
what?
Good player. And right now, I think he's a good player, but he doesn't break this Arsenal best 11 at the minute, and that's wild to me. I think he's very direct direct dribbler, but great finisher, like unreal shooting technique. Is second to none, but I just don't ever see him becoming the player that Arsenal fans and England fans are saying that he will be in the future. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, we'll look back on it and say I'm wrong, but I don't see it personally. I just don't see it. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but like people comparing him with Saka and Smith Rowe, but Saka's level is ahead of Smith Rowe.
I agree with that. To be fair,
I know you might not like that, Matt. That's just the way I think it.
I personally I don't agree at all with the overrated part, to be honest. I think the thing with Smith Rowe is how when you say you don't think he'll get to that level, what makes you feel like that?
I don't think his bag's deep enough, in a very not nerdy way to say. I don't. Yeah, obviously he can improve on that and he can extend that massively, but I just don't think his bag's deep enough. Like, his technique is sensational, but yeah, maybe he will. But I just can't see him becoming like a world class. I can't see him becoming the level that Saka is now, personally.
You know what? With Smith Rowe, it's a weird one because some set of people may overrate him just because of how many goals he has. Because some people, naturally attached to goals and stuff, but they do overstate it sometimes. But I think the thing with Smith Rowe, what you've got is one thing which I really like about Smith Rowe is his awareness of where to be. Last season, he came in the side and he was a breath of fresh air completely. And you saw how much better we did, and he came in opposite. Football excellence versus football. That's a topic for another day. But yeah, with Smith Rowe, as I said, he came in the side, big breath of fresh air, and I can't lie, completely forgot what train of thought I was going to say, so I'll move on to another point about Smith Rowe. But yeah, he's a brilliant ball. Oh, I remember. He didn't get many goal involvements last year, and I remember he said in an interview that's what he wants to bump up. Yeah. So what did he do? He worked on that fully. Goals like Leicester, for example, his movement which gets in the goal. He's that player who adds that inventiveness, I guess, or he's that direct player which you don't see direct players enough in the Premier League. You have a few players, ironically Jota's one of them, who will run at you, but there aren't many. And Smith Rowe's one of those players. That goal against Brentford, that goal against West Ham, 2 big goals in, sealing off games, really, 3 points for us. His ball striking, as you said, is unbelievable. His work rate's great. Yeah, to be honest, I kind of see him more underrated than overrated, if anything. I don't really see people.
Do you think he's creative enough? Because his creative numbers this season, they're really underwhelming. Less big chances created, less chances created than a player like Jota. Maybe again, he's so young, but
you know what?
Don't see it.
Everything comes through Ødegaard.
Yeah,
so Smith Rowe will be left or I feel I see Smith Rowe more as the one who will get from the halfway line to, I don't know, beating his man to getting to Ødegaard, who's in the middle in a great position. He'll be that ball carrier, which is one thing which makes him very likable as a player in general. I really like his work rate as well. I personally love the guy. Not even an Arsenal perspective. I just I don't really see it personally, but yeah.
I personally wouldn't have him in this team, but I think he was well worth throwing in. If we're going realistically, I'd have Mahrez.
Go on, then. Go ahead.
Just Mahrez, like fantastic player, like no doubt about it. But I just don't get it. Like he rarely scores big goals. Last season in the Champions League, fair enough, but like the guy does not score big goals. Like he scores goals when they're like 3-0 up against like Macclesfield Town or something, and they went extinct about 20 years ago. Like, and that's fine, but
City fans, don't click off.
I think it was the Salah. I think it was the Salah comparisons, and I think Salah's slightly overrated as well. But I don't think he's more overrated than player like Mahrez, who just I don't know. It's you know how passionate African fans are, like the Algerian fans. Like some of the things they say about him, I just find ludicrous. And City fans love him. They've got every right to love him. He's an all-timer in the Premier League, but I don't think he's better than a handful of wingers right now. But the way he gets talked about on Twitter is like he's a godsend because he's more fun to watch. But statistically, like he dribbles his dribble volume and dribble completion is like some of the lowest. And yeah, you can read stats off a graph and say, you know, this player's overrated, but like Salah completes more dribbles and like they're at a higher volume. So like if you're basing the game off of dribbling, you're not. You're basing it off aesthetics, and that's fine. But you know, give me a stiff dribbler who scores like 25 a season. That's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Player, I don't know if you've got anything to add on that, Matt, quickly or.
Bit mixed. I agree with the Morris shout in general. Like I think he is overrated. I think he's a great player, but he's not like a properly like one of the world's best like type player. I don't know, like obviously the point you said, it was quite funny. I remember I was watching like against Southampton. I think it was like 2-1 City or 1-1. He missed a chance and then it got to 3-1 and they scored a goal against Palace at 0-0. He missed that chance. But now that's just joke sides. I think with Mahrez, he's just not as good as people stay him out to be, not just with the actual contributions, because, you know, as I say, that's not just the sole reason you judge a player. Maybe his role as well in the City side doesn't exactly help, because City are very left-hand side dominant when they do play Cancelo and Sterling down that side. So you see those two have the ball a lot more, or that side in general. But I kind of see him as, you know, like a player of shift play and stuff. Like a lot of the time he'll try find an angle, but I don't know, I just don't see him like as effective, or I don't see him in the same light as some people see him as like some world beater personally.
Yeah, fair enough. I think the last player we wanted to talk about was Mount before we move on to completing the team. I saw a shake in the head. Who was that?
Me.
Matt disagreed.
Yeah.
Tay, you're with me. Demir, what do you think?
Oh, in terms of Mount?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit mixed. I don't mind it. I don't mind a shout. I do think he's a good player, but just recently I feel like this season hasn't been great. I mean, he's got what, like more goals and assists than I saw a tweet that says he's got more goals and assists than like Ronaldo, Jota, I don't know who else, like Mane or something like that. But 6 of them came against Norwich, so like he's been poor, like in terms of overall play. So I don't really mind, but then again, I still rate the guy.
I just want to say, right, for me, it stems from, first of all, I thought at the Euros he was shocking. Like, that performance in the final, generally, he might as well have not played. And that's my issue with him a lot of the time. I feel like he can bypass games so easily without even really making an impact at all. And he's supposed to be like a forward. And the other point is the players he sort of gets compared to, like the whole Mount and Foden thing. Like, I just think there's levels in that. And, like, I'm not even sure I'm taking Mount over like Ødegaard. Like, you know,
respect Martin.
Yeah, no, but like, I mean, Ødegaard's not as good as Foden, is he? But like, I genuinely would probably take an Ødegaard over Mount. Certainly taking Fernandes over Mount. And these are sort of players he gets compared to. So again, he's obviously not bad. You know, he's the way that he's broke on the scene since he was at Derby is pretty good. But and he's pretty much a nailed-on starter for England, which I don't like. I don't think he's anywhere near like, you know, best or second best like wide forward, not at all. And like the players he gets compared to, I just think he's miles off. But again, not a bad player.
I hear it.
I mean, I'm not even taking him over Smith Rowe. I'll say they're pretty neck and neck.
I think the thing with Mount, like, the way he's been played for Chelsea and stuff at the moment, I don't like it at all. Like, if you're talking strictly inside forward, I don't rate him in the slightest.
I don't
But I
understand
think
the old inside forward stuff. Like
winger forward, anything like
I
that,
don't think he suits that system whatsoever. Because he's not an 8.
no chance.
He's not good enough to play an 8 defensively, which is fine. He's more offensive minded, but like his killer pass is woeful. Like he's a fantastic player. Like I actually like him. I prefer him to players like Foden, Smith Rowe, Bruno, but he's not better than them. Like so, it's hard for me to say. I'm not trying to be biased, but there's a massive part. His game is so polished, other than about 10-15%, and that 10-15% is huge. It's absolutely huge. His decision making, his killer pass, final third actions. He's meant to be a final third player. He's not rapid. He's not he doesn't excel at anything in the final third. I think he needs to play like a Bruno sort of role, personally. But if we're putting Mount in, man, we've got to put Grealish in as well.
I had Grealish.
This season, yeah, but at Villa, he was genuinely like borderline world class. It's just like he's clearly great. No, you're not right.
I don't even at Villa, like I'm hearing shouts of world class. No,
I reckon he was borderline. I really do.
No,
yeah,
I don't think so. I
feel
like
Villa went to like a
very,
relegation form side and lost to like Sheffield United and stuff without him. I remember.
Yeah, of course. But that's always going to happen when your main player isn't there. Everything went through him, like everything. So, and he's a very great creative player. So obviously his stats and the way he plays, it's going to look great. Like he's a good aesthetic player.
He's the Birmingham Jeremy Lin. Like
you're so ill, man.
Guy gets buckets for one season and dips. Like, get your bag. Get your boots.
Tasted, yeah.
I mean, considering he's 100 mil, I get it because he's been really underwhelming this season.
Listen, he's so lucky he plays at City because nothing's been said. Nothing's been said.
You know what?
Lukaku's gone for the same amount, and he's been slandered. But he plays in a system where they don't create anything. They don't play to his strengths, and he's been the scapegoat for their whole attack. Grealish suits City. They play tiki taka. Grealish likes
Grealish plays hero ball. Like he's like an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer player. Like
do you know what? Here, I feel like Sancho and Grealish should swap. They should swap.
Yeah.
But I feel like because Grealish plays at City, everything's masked, and no one really cares about City anyway. Let's be honest. So
you know what though?
One player, I'm having Grealish in this front three. Sorry,
I put Grealish in my team.
You want him in?
Yeah.
All right. We'll have him in.
Get it.
Who else? We need a striker.
I'll put Lacazette.
Is he rated?
Who rates Lacazette?
I think if anything, he's underrated. Like he can't.
Every Arsenal fan cannot. Well, not every. Like, it's a weird one with him. Like everyone respects him, loves him.
I feel like he's rated. I feel like people. I kind of put him into like that kind of
maybe like
Firmino kind of like mode now, where like he's contributing without getting those goals and assists. Those goals. Like,
wow, we can.
I've seen some shouts about that, so that's the only reason why.
We can chuck him in, or just go Pep and not have a striker.
I'd rather go Pep and not have a striker.
Yeah, or we can put Jota.
I can't.
Yeah, but I think Matt's on his own. I don't know. I don't know.
Rashford.
He's not rated.
Nah, that guy's done.
Should we go Hudson-Odoi?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's harsh. Wow.
How was that harsh?
I just don't think anyone cares. Like.
Yeah, I agree with that. To be fair.
Yeah, good player, but like,
it's pretty sad.
Is my forward one.
I think Rafinha's worth a shout as well. Like,
I like Rafinha.
Rafinha's an interesting player. He's the type of player you'd probably be more.
He's not a better player than Jarrett Bowen.
Yeah, but Jarrett Bowen's class. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but the comparison is ridiculous. Like,
no, that's fair. Right, anyway, we ain't got too much time left. We've got a bit more to talk about.
Mine's Grealish, Mahrez, and I'll let you pick a striker. You can put. I don't know. Put your Hudson.
Do you know? Actually, I'm not even going to say it.
Put Raul Jimenez there.
Oh, that's you know what? That's actually a good shout. I like that shout.
I was actually considering Richarlison. And I thought
We haven't had a
I've
single
never
Everton
rated
player.
him.
That's outrageous. They're
Yeah,
literally
in he
the
goes
worst.
then. Just for that. Just for that. In he goes.
First.
So
We're
we
chucking
lose
him.
to Digne. I forgot about him.
Up there, as long as
But
we
he's
get-
not even playing for Everton anymore. Never mind.
Aston Villa.
We're
Forgot
chucking
about
him.
him.
We're chucking him. Richarlison. We happy with that?
Or we could
I mean-
slap that Alan in the false nine.
Who?
Alan. Exactly.
Van der Beek, false 9, sorted.
Nah, we go. Grealish, Richarlison, Hudson-Odoi. Yeah. All right. There's the 11. So I'll run through it again. De Gea, Aarons, Soyuncu, Laporte, Tellez, McTominay, Jorginho, Tielemans, Grealish,
That midfield makes me sick.
Grealish, Richarlison, and Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, that midfield.
No
is
ball
so
progression. No
That
one
team,
else.
that
That
team,
midfield
that team
is
probably wins the
stinky.
championship, though. I'm not gonna lie.
bad. Honestly, man. Anyway, let us know
Mate,
what you
Fulham
think
would
of that.
batter them.
Let us know what you think. I'm sure a lot of people disagree and a lot of people agree. So let us know and give us your overrated 11s in the comments. So just before we finish up, we just want to talk about a few things that are going on in the world right now. The main one, wish we had a bit more time to talk about this, but we haven't really. And that's Demir. It looks like we're about to get Eric Ten Hag as new manager. So looks like it's nearly over the line. So just quickly, just for a few minutes, what do you think of that?
The right appointment. I think he's a very, very great manager. One of the just below the elitists of Pep, Klopp, those Enrique, those kind of sort of caliber, and that's what we need to go for. They are not available, so let's get the best available that's under them. And I feel like Ten Hag is the correct decision. The only way I'm skeptical is because I know this club, I know the owners. They don't like to give control to anyone.
Yeah, that's it. Spot on.
Ten Hag needs everything in his power, in his control. Like he needs a trust.
He needs time. He needs time.
And
As
he
well.
needs time. And he needs time.
Time and control.
You can't cut corners on a rebuild. I feel like
And a
United
few
will.
midfielders and a
We've
goalkeeper.
we've cut corners wherever we've gone. Like we've hit the curb every time. Like it's insane. We need to properly back him. We need to get whoever he wants as an assistant, not who we want.
Not Mike Phelan.
Steve McLaren.
Get him involved.
Listen, Steve McLaren, I don't know where he's come from. If Ten Hag wants Steve McLaren, then
if Ten Hag wants it, let him have him. That's how I see it.
If Ten Hag doesn't,
Maybe in the championship next season, but let him have him.
Then I don't want Steve McLaren. But yeah, first of all, I hope the deal gets over the line, and then second of all, I hope he gets the full trust.
It's the same with players, though, isn't it? I'm done with this squad. No one, I don't give a.
The only people I like, Sancho can stay. I'm gonna include Pogba because Pogba can stay, Varane can stay, and that's it.
No, with all
what about Fred?
If Ten Hag
Fred
wants
can
anyone
stay,
gone,
and Fred can stay. Yeah.
If Ten Hag wants anyone gone, get him gone. If Ten Hag wants anyone in, get him in. I'm sick of
Sancho off your pop.
The one thing I will say, and I don't. We called about. We predicted who would become like the new player to be reborn under Ranić, and we called that was Fred, and it has been Fred. I feel like Maguire could actually become a good centre back under Ten Hag.
He is a good centre back. He's just in bad form.
I agree with that.
Plays an unfavourable system as well.
I feel like Maguire. I don't like him. I feel like he makes too many individual mistakes, even if we play in a bad defensive system. Like too many individual unforced errors down to him is just crazy. But however, Ten Hag likes progressive ball carrying defenders, and that's him to a T. He's our best ball carrier. He's also dominant in the air, and Ten Hag likes that. He also doesn't mind like quick centre backs. He doesn't. I think like the Lit, Blind are good examples of
like Timber as well.
Timber's pretty quick, to be fair, but other than that, yeah, I feel like Maguire could be reborn.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a question. I got a question for you two about him. Like, I know that United, like the Glazers, are all over the place with their decisions. I know. Is Woodward stepping down or is he staying now? But
who? He's gone.
He's gone now. Woodward's gone, man. do you believe, like you saying, everyone knows? I'm a Liverpool fan. I know you should give this man time. I know you should give this man what he wants. Like, give him, like, if he doesn't win a title for 5 years, who cares? Like, you can't, you can't change things overnight. You can't skip, like, cut corners. But do you think you will actually give him the time, or do you
know
not?
what? Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is, too? I feel like our club weirdly is a commercial club, and commercial club is all about fan interactions. So I feel like, I don't know why, but I just have this like hint that he's won it because of the fans' engagement on Twitter and everything. Saying Ten Hag, you saw Gary Neville's. So they listen to the fans, yeah. If Ten Hag then starts to fail, loses like 3 in a row, 5 in a row, doesn't win 6 games, it doesn't win a game in 6 games, doesn't win a game in like a long time, the fans starts to go and turn. They start listening to that, and then that's when the toxicity then comes in, and that's when the Glazers think,
yeah, fan power is definitely bigger than you think.
Start to change.
Fan power is definitely bigger than you think, isn't it? Like,
Yes,
fans are big,
100%.
But yeah, it's exciting times. But again, long story short, like Demille said, he needs to have what he wants. You can't just cut corners and give him who we've got and start forcing signings on him. If we can get it right, I think he'll be a good appointment. But we've got to accept there is a problem and we are a long way off. So we'll see how it goes. Ideally, the less United talk on this podcast between now and the end of the season, the better. So I respect Demille for whacking the shirt on. I couldn't do it to myself today.
Got no respect.
But anyway, I've got a few more things I want to talk about before we wrap up. Obviously, Champions League this week, there wasn't too many massive stories. I mean, you had Villarreal with a good win over Bayern. I mean, fair play to Emery, Villarreal, they're doing well, but I'd be surprised if Bayern didn't smash them in the second leg 3 or 4-0, with all due respect. Like, that's just what they do. Liverpool and City got pretty routine wins. City showed how to break down the Atletico Madrid team, which we just had no idea what to do. But the main one we want to talk about is Real Madrid and mainly Benzema. So I'm not going to go in too much on the game because it's it was yesterday now. But the question I want to pose on Benzema is, at the moment he is like, he's off the scale. He's probably the best striker in the world at the minute. So what question I want to pose just quickly is, where would you rank him in, sort of strikers in the last 10 or so years? Where does he rank in terms of that?
It's 2 different questions between the last 10 years or the last 3 years, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree.
Last 10 years, he's probably still top 5, probably top 6, top 7. But over the last,
you got Suarez,
Lewandowski, Aguero, Ibrahimovic. If we're talking 10 years, I'm getting old. I don't know how long. Like, Rooney's got to be in there. If we're talking 10 years, like, I know you could argue it was better years.
That's 2012, isn't it?
Yeah, 2012.
I'm getting old, man.
I think Benzema at the minute is like, best striker in the world, probably. Yeah, he's got to be on it. Yeah,
has to be. But all time, like.
If you look at his whole career, right, I'm not saying it's not been good, because it has, and his record in the Champions League is brilliant. I don't think you can put him up there with, I think Suarez, Aguero are really the main ones.
The thing about Benzema is that he's always been a shadow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's his only downfall.
Until now.
With Suarez, it's just him. Like, he was leading the Liverpool attack. With Lewandowski, it's just him. He was getting all the goals. Benzema, Aguero the same. I mean, Aguero's got the iconic moment with him, and he scored so many big goals. And the Premier League has the most coverage. Does that make sense? So with Benzema, it's unfortunate because I feel like anywhere else with that goal record and his overall play in general, it's incredible. We would have been talking about him way back, if that makes sense. I don't think he's gotten better. I don't think he's just suddenly become. I mean, he probably has, but I don't think suddenly he's become all this. Great.
I think he's improved with time still, but he's kind of just taking this stride. I
think he's just been like a steady, like elite striker, but it's just the fact that there's so many explosive strikers down the years.
Never asked Madrid fans what they thought of Benzema between 2013 and 2019.
Yeah, for sure though. But the 2 headers were just like, so good. That first one,
so unique.
One.
Yeah, outrageous.
It's no coincidence as well. We scored or forced those sort of errors on Mendy, on Karius, on Donnarumma. Obviously, the last one probably a foul, but yeah, it's no coincidence.
Yeah, for sure. And fair play to him, he's absolutely smashing it. And I hope he wins a Ballon d'Or. It'd be great to see because I'm a massive fan of his. So I think at the minute he's got to be front runner. So we'll have to see how that ends up. The last sort of thing I just want to talk about before we reveal the answers to the quiz. Everton, man, that game yesterday, wow, was a massive game and they absolutely threw it away. They had the lead and they've thrown it away in a relegation
Super
6-pointer.
yeah.
And, you know, I've always been at that ignorant point of, oh, they're surely not going to go down. But tell you what, if I was a betting man right now,
Are you not?
well, I might be. They can't buy a win. Where are they going to win any of these games for the rest of the season?
On Saturday.
On
Yeah,
to
that's a good
Dr. Man
point.
United.
Yeah. All right.
That's
After
what
their
Trafford
3
comes in.
points on Saturday, where else are they going to pick up any points for the rest of the season the way they're playing at the minute? Because they've just got the Newcastle win. They didn't even deserve to win that.
They've won an
Oh, yeah.
as
Who
well.
else have they got? They got Liverpool, City,
They got
look out, they're
Arsenal,
running now.
Chelsea,
Chelsea.
Tottenham.
Leicester.
They've got
Unless you have so many
They've got
players.
United home, Leicester home, Liverpool away, Chelsea home, Leicester away, Watford away, Brentford at home, Palace at home, Arsenal away.
That's filthy. Do you know what? And it's very unpopular, but as a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't be sad to see them go, but I'm not. I don't hope they don't get relegated because it would be brilliant, but I sort of feel sorry for them. Like
Sorry.
put him rivalry aside. Like if you guys burnt to the ground, I wouldn't care. Like that, do you know what I mean? But with Everton, like I can't take them seriously enough. Like, and they have such a passionate fan base, and like it's a footballing city. Like I heard some bloke cry yesterday. A 40-year-old man with kids cry about Everton, and it's, you know what? It's pulling on my heartstrings a bit. Like
You're on the wind up.
Emotional take.
nah. But imagine Everton not in the Premier League. Like that's
It's
bizarre
mental,
to me.
isn't it?
I mean,
That is
look,
I feel like they'll come up to next season.
I feel like it's a topic we'll be revisiting a fair bit because that's really one of the main things to play for. I mean, it would be like ridiculous. You know, they're probably the biggest club ever to get relegated out of the Prem easily.
I think.
Yeah.
Fat Frank relegation on the CV. Let's go.
Got to take the positive.
I think
Wrong
they
job,
stay
Frank.
up still. But,
Should Frank go?
No, not now. There's no point.
You know what? I mean,
It
they
wasn't
made their bed. They got to lie in it now. Really.
Yeah, it was the horrible.
Yeah, but
point.
do you not think if they lose the next two, do you not think they've got to like just try anything?
Nigel
You know what though? With
blowout.
Everton, like I know they've reached panic. Like they could very easily reach proper panic stations. Like, but Everton's squad like it's outrageously unbalanced. They decided
Yeah,
to
it is.
Rally and Van de Beek in January. Who knows why? You sign one, not the other, and you get like a sixth because they have no one. They have their best players underperforming or absent. Like it's a tough one for them, and then obviously it doesn't help. But Lampard would be suited to another job, but Everton need to be that defensive, I don't know, Sam Allardyce type team. And
Well, that's probably why
they didn't,
Ancelotti was
so.
persistent in playing so defensively, and it looked like he was underperforming. But looking at it now. But anyway, just one quick question, just to round up: are they going down? Yes or no, Matt?
Yes.
I'm saying yes. Okay,
I'm saying no. I think they stay up.
the mill.
Who's going down instead?
Burnley.
Arsenal.
That
Leeds-
sounds pretty realistic.
I'll say yes, only because Burnley will find a way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Burnley can dig out a result. Everton, I don't know if they can.
Burnley just aren't a real team. You
No.
just sim forward to the end of the
Actually
season.
not.
and
Wasn't that their fourth win of the season and are now in a good position to stay up? It's outrageous.
Some teams just pick up points, like minimal points, and they found themselves like 10 places up the table. It doesn't make any sense, but
Yeah,
Anyway.
but like I think if the football script writers have got someone up their sleeve, they got 2 games in hand. They win 1 game, they're only 2 points behind, and they still got a game in hand. And I know they're probably not going to go and win all their remaining 9 games, but I just can't. They've got too much quality to go down. They'll scrape like a.
would you not say that for a lot of teams though?
But what game? But what games?
I mean, but aren't they 1 point above Burnley?
It's
Same
1 point.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
games played now.
Yeah,
And
no,
Everton's
it's not.
fixtures
Well,
are
yeah, but
horrific.
Leeds have played 31.
Yeah,
Newcastle have played
yeah.
30. Brentford have played 31. Like Everton.
Tell you what, 2 massive games on the weekend, relegation wise. Burnley versus Norwich, I
Norwich,
think,
yeah.
and Leeds Watford. 2 massive.
And
Leeds win
obviously
Watford.
Everton as well.
Yeah,
Everton will probably be in the bottom 3 this weekend. I think
They're about. I think
yeah.
Leeds beat Watford. They're about safe.
yeah.
Or pretty much like that point.
I'd like to see Leeds go down. I like Jesse March.
It won't happen. It won't.
I'd like to see Leeds go
I
down.
don't mind Leeds, to be fair. So
It's 3 of the 4 now. But anyway,
that's
that's
it.
about all we got time for in that. And just the final segment of the show, I'm going to announce the answers to the quiz. And I've had the answers in from these boys, and it's not pretty viewing, to be honest. So the one answer, I mean, Tay didn't even give me an answer for the first question, which I thought was fairly easy. Matt and Demille have both got this right. So the promoted side that beat Chelsea was West Brom 5-2.
I'm meant to know that.
In the
Is that bonus point? Is that bonus point?
No. You can both have 1 point.
5? Did you say in the cup?
Wait, Matt,
We'll
did you
take
say
it.
5-2 as well?
Yeah.
What's that,
Hang
Tay?
on, did you say in the cup?
No, it was Premier League.
Oh, I was gonna say.
They're
Am I
5-2.
dice?
Yeah,
Nah, I
5-2.
don't remember that.
Chelsea
Yeah.
always have that freak result every year at the Bridge. so.
Yeah. So no one got question 2 either, which was what player did Liverpool sign from Fulham?
I know the answer. But...
Tay has Googled the answer and he's kicking himself. The answer's Harvey Elliott.
Oh,
Wow, I didn't know that.
that's a sneaky question because you're thinking like old school or like older players.
Tribunal. Surely that's not a real question.
Oh.
Yeah. Johnny Stain actually didn't get it.
It went to the Crown Courts, mate. I'm not having that for an answer.
The next question was pretty easy for everyone, to be fair. The 2 players that played in the Bayern Munich and Villarreal games, Thomas Müller, Manuel Neuer, everyone got that. So that means
Right.
Matt and Demille are on 2, Tay's on 1. And that's how it ends because nobody managed to give me an answer for any of these last 2 questions.
What were the answers?
What's the question?
So the Swansea Cardiff one was the
Oh, yeah.
first time that anyone had ever done the double in that fixture in its history.
What? That's crazy.
Really?
to be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
That's
That is
outrageous.
crazy, yeah.
Swansea won both
Wait,
matches, first
what?
time it's ever happened.
What
First
Cardiff?
time.
First time ever in a fixture, yeah.
That's outrageous.
Yeah. And the hat-trick question, still no idea. If anybody got this one in the comments without cheating, please let me know. The answer's Luis Adriano.
Yes.
I was never getting that.
In the group stages, I saw it, man. Ah,
He's forgot. Right,
He's bottled it.
I guess Matt and Demille are taking the points from today. Tay,
Insert that
one
like
out of
red and white scarf holding it together.
shake my hand.
Fair play. So, also, one thing we
on?
want to add to that section of the show is if anybody wants to send in their own question, we are more than willing to add that into the show. We're sort of, I think, going to aim for stuff like that that's sort of relevant to the week just past. And then, so we don't know who's going to be Quizmaster next week. So one of the other 3 will make the questions, then I'll take their place answering, and then we'll keep the leaderboard going and that. So just thought that was just a little thing.
It'll be rude to take Matt and Demille off their big role, so I'll
You're happy to take over?
Yeah.
Right, we'll be treated to Tay's questions next week. Then, so, yeah, we'll put details
In
on
for a blinder.
week if anybody wants to send in any questions to be used. So yeah, that is about all we've got time for. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. It's great to be recording these podcasts. I'm really excited to go ahead with it. So thank you guys for all coming on. I'm looking forward to more. So yeah, just a few things via social media. We've set up most accounts. I think the main one we're going to use is Twitter, which is at TM4pod. So if you follow on there, you'll be able to find all links through there as well. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, and yeah, obviously Spotify is the main one. So obviously YouTube is a thing, so we've got the cameras set up and stuff. So I do apologize if I've made any references to actual viewers watching the thing that you wouldn't understand if you're on audio. So I do apologize about that, but we will be available on most podcasting sites plus YouTube plus everything I just mentioned. So if you head to our Twitter at TM4pod, you can find us on there, and then any other platform you want to follow us on, you can find through there. So yeah, that's about all we got time for. So thank you very much everyone for tuning in. I hope you're all good. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned, but this is going to be a weekly show, so this is going up on Friday. Another one will be up next week. So yeah, any feedback as well is appreciated as always, and that's about all we got time for. So take care guys, see you in the next one.